Hey guys, so in this video we're going to create some basic enemy AI so we can then set up blocking and we can check if the player is receiving damage correctly and if the enemy can attack and so on. So first thing that we need to do is let's add some AI to enemy. We need to add component and this will be pawn sensing. And first thing we want to do with this pawn sensing is here we do have some events. So on C pawn, we're going to add. And then from the pawn sensing, so drag it out, we're going to do AI move to, which is a function that enables this enemy to actually move to player. But we don't want to do just any pawn, because if you place two enemies in the game, then they will chase each other. So we need to check if it's actually player. So in the player, open it up, and we're going to add tag. So in the details panel with player BP selected, just search for tag, and we need to add it here to actor. And this one will be player. Compile it. Now in the enemy, what we need to do is check if this pawn has tag, and this one will be player. And then if it does, do a branch, so B and click, we're going to move to him. And now here you would think the pawn that we need to move to needs to be this pawn, but that's not true because pawn here is self. I know it's a little bit confusing, but that's how it's done. And the target actor will be the pawn that we are actually seeing or sensing. And that is all we need for enemy to run to us. And here you can change the acceptance radius, which will be how close it will actually go to the player. So I think something like 50 will be good, so it's not too close. Now we need to set up navigation mesh for the enemy, otherwise it won't work. So in here, just search for nav mesh, bounce volume, add it, and then if you press P on a keyboard, it will show you this green grid, and we can just resize it to where you want your AI to go. So I'm just going to do this middle square here. I don't need it any longer. And now we also need to make sure if it does actually have animation blueprint, because otherwise it won't move at all. So in the mesh, I'm just going to do ABP money and make sure this is not the old Unreal Engine mannequin. It needs to be SKM money or SKM queen. And one more thing that we need to set up is we can actually test it out. I'll show you. So here he's now moving to me. And then when he reaches that acceptance radius of 50, he will stop moving. And then when I move, he moves again. But then you can kind of go around him and he will actually stop. So it's not perfect AI, obviously. This is not how we're going to do it. This is just so he can actually attack us. So first thing what we want to do is we want his legs to actually move. And for that there is a funny little setting on character movement. Search for accelerate. And we need to check this use acceleration for paths. That way he will actually accelerate and his movement speed will be set in an animation blueprint and he can run. So cool, so enemy is running to us. Now second thing we want to set up, you can see I do have a slight issue with the camera, he's basically blocking my camera. So what we can do for that is find out where we actually have collision on camera. So just type in collision now. And here we ignoring camera, capsule component is probably the cool print. So I'm just going to do custom collision and ignore the camera. Let me just quickly check anywhere else. So here is overlap, overlap, ignore, and this is fine. So now he shouldn't be blocking the camera either. I can just move around him and I can see everything. So now for attacking, let's go to enemy blueprint. Here on success, so that means when he reaches the player, we're going to set up custom event. So add custom event, and this will be attack. and we're going to call it here. And then in this attack, what we need to set up is just play montage. And we only have one attack montage at the moment, which is 200 combo. So add it here. We don't want to... Obviously what happens is if he chases us and he actually is next to us, then he will just be playing montages, but he can play one after the other straight away. So what we want to do is prevent spamming attacking. So we're going to do once node. And then when we actually complete this montage, then we reset it. So you can move it here. Then one more thing can happen. This can be interrupted for whatever reason. If you just move away or something, then from interrupted we can prevent it by doing delay. And so if the montage is interrupted, he will wait 1 second and then he will reset the attack. And we also can randomize these sections because we have all of the montages in the section, so we can randomize the montages. But we can do from the section, we can do random array item. Here we can just make array. And to this array we need to add section names, which is, if you did the same as me, it's attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, and attack 4. So now this enemy is going to pick random montage to play or random montage section. So if I go, he gets close to me, he catches me, and he doesn't play it because, as always, I forgot to add mesh. So in skeletal mesh component, then play the game. So he gets close to me, and you can see now he's attacking. One attack, second attack. It's different again. Different. He actually did all 4 of them in a row, which was nice. But now he's picking one at random. So there will be a few errors now when we exit the game because we're doing line trace and it's trying to find the main hand weapon, which doesn't exist. So we also need to set main hand weapon to the enemy. For that, let's just create one more custom event. And this will be spawn weapon. We're going to call it on begin play. Spawn weapon. I'm going to remove this death from here. And in spawn weapon we want to spawn actor from class. We can just give it one of the weapons. I'm going to give it a sword probably. So iron sword. Spawn transform, we need to make transform. And just change the location X to like 500. It doesn't matter because it immediately gets attached to component. So from return value, attach actor to component. I'm going to move this further down. And then here, parent will be the mesh again. And again, if we have SKM money or SKM queen, we do have socket names. So this one needs to be attached to main hand. Snap to target on all 3. And we have spawn weapon. But now we need to also tell combat component what weapon we have equipped. So in the combat component we have variable setup. So just set main weapon, main hand. So we can do the line trace. And this will be the main hand from return value. Let's redirect it because it's overlapping here. And I'm just going to move it up. And this one down. Cool, compile and save. Now he should have a weapon in hand. And he also is going to attack me. So he didn't hit me that time. That is just my computer being really slow, so he's not line tracing correctly. But as you can see, most of the times he's actually hitting me, but I'm not taking any damage. And the reason is because he probably doesn't have any damage, and we also seem to have another error, which is called spawn decal attached. So we're not attaching the decal which we have set up, which is the blood gush. And the reason probably is because on the player we have turned it off to receive decals in one of the tutorial. And that was probably in when we were creating ledge, because ledge on top has a decal and it was projecting on the player. But for now, for purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to enable it again, and then we'll sort out the ledge in some different one when we do some fixes. So search for decal, and we're going to receive decals again, and then receive decals here. I was thinking about not doing it on the player, but then it actually is going to look a little bit nicer when he is a bit bloody. So do it on all of the components as well, because if you have chest equipped and you only have it on the mesh, you won't see it on the chest. So we won't actually see the blood. So receive decals, maybe even on face. Compile and save. And then what was the other thing I wanted to fix? Let's just check if this is working. So there, my arm is bloody. I'll turn around. I'm bloody from the front. And that's actually quite cool. And it's slowly disappearing. I can also damage him. And we'll just be fighting. There we go. And we're both bloody now. So... it's cool. He has it on the face. Alright. Now damage. So he is not causing any damage. So let's find the stats component and just give him some damage. He doesn't have any. So add one. And can be physical damage. I'm going to do only like 10. And I'll add in one more, which will be the specific type damage, like he's a snake because he's attacking us, so it will be poison. And I'll give him 10 as well. Make sure here you don't do these old ones that we have here, poison damage percentage. That won't do anything. It needs to be one of the actual poison damage. And give him 10. Now we play the game. He missed. And you can see I'm taking damage. You can't see it very well because my health is only like 10. So I'm going to go to stats component on player and do health. And it will be 200 out of 200. Okay, so you can see I'm taking 20 points of damage. So in 10 hits he's going to kill me. That's working fine. Sometimes he misses though. That's fine as well. And second thing what we want to do now is, or second or third, we want to also set up death. So when we kill him, he's going to die. But we're not going to do this death event that we set up previously. We're going to do it with interface. So we can do it in any interface, but it's best thing if we do it in combat as everything else. We're going to add new function, and this will be death. Add it to combat category, compile it, let's go back to, and save it. Let's go back to enemy, double click in the interfaces on death, and we're going to connect it back to this node. And then to make enemy die, we need to go to combat component. So we can right click, edit combat component. And here we do have the whole line trace and everything, but we need the function that is take damage. Because here we actually take damage. And after we modify current stat, we're going to check. So first get from combat component, from stats component, get current stat and health. And if it's less or equals 0, do branch. And if it's true, we're going to call death event. We need to get owner first of the component, which will be enemy, and call death. So that's untrue. But then we also need to do this last damage calculation, because otherwise we would just take damage and we wouldn't show the last damage. So it needs to go to return node as well. And on false, it will just go to return node. So now we will cause death, but then there will be a few issues. So let's see. Let's try to kill this guy now. Okay, he's turned his back to me, so he's not attacking. Now I kill him, and you can see he's dead. He even dropped the loot bag, which is quite nice. But then he's moving around quite a lot. I think we have collision set up on weapons, which we shouldn't have. There is no reason to have a collision. And also somewhere here you can see I'm getting stuck. I'm not able to walk forward. And that is the capsule component blocking me. So, first issue. Collision on the weapons. What we want to do is go to Blueprints, Items, and open Items BP, because that is the parent of all classes. Go to Item Mesh, and we need to go to Collision, and here we do have collision for some reason. It needs to be no collision. We don't need any collision on weapons or armor or anything at all, because they are just not handled that way. We have weapon end and weapon start, between which we doing the line trace, so no collision is needed. And the second issue was that I was colliding against capsule component. So here in capsule component, if you do hidden in game, you will see it where it actually was, and it moves in quite weird way when he's dead. So we're going to uncheck hidden in game, and then I'm also going to on death. Oh, sorry, not in this one. I'm in a player. Need to go to enemy, capsule components, and do hidden in game so we can see it where it is. Uncheck it, and then on death you get it, capsule component, and set collision enabled. And we're going to do no collision. So now I do have some compiler error on the player. What happened? Same name, death, because did I have something set up in the player? Yeah, I did. I forgot. So here this one needs to be deleted and then compiled. So now let me try to kill him again. I'm just going to get this 200 there. You can see the collision component. Die. And now I would be colliding against this. You know, so now we turn it off, so it doesn't happen. But you can see there is one more issue, that he's actually attacking. And that is because the AI is still working. We didn't turn it off. And to turn it off, we need to go to enemy. And on death as well, we're going to get pawn sensing. And there is one variable, I forgot what it is called. Where are you? I have a select the pawn sensing, and you will see it here. It's this first one, enable sensing updates. So search for it, enable sensing updates. Enabled, it will give us new pawn sensing for whatever reason, and we will just leave it disabled. And I think that is all we have to do. Now we actually got basic and AI that will attack us, and we can start the blocking event and stuff like that. And he dies. He drops the loot bag as well. No, that is not all. So what can happen is also, if we have multiple damage types, they will still run. So we need to prevent enemy from receiving damage again. So, okay, this will be lasting. I promised that this will be quick, but I know it's taking quite a long time. Let's set up gameplay tags on enemy as well. So gameplay tags, and this will be gameplay tag container. In this one, we're going to compile, search for tags, character. Let's go to checks, and here we're going to add subtag, and this one will be, I don't know, is that, add new tag. And then on death, we go into get gameplay tags, add tag, and we're going to check it. So character checks is that. And also before, we need to get gameplay tags and check has tag, exact match, and we can do character checks is that branch. And if the guy is dead, we can't die again. So true, false goes here. True, we will leave empty. Copy this branch with hashtag. And we also need to add it to this point damage because we don't want to be receiving point damage if we are dead. So that way, if you have multiple damage types and first one kills the enemy, he won't receive the second one. Sorry, this one needs to go from the false. Alright, compile and save. And that is pretty much all. So now he's able to die only once, and he's not able to receive any other damage. And as I said, we do have basic enemy AI. So one more time I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get these 2 fast weapons. There we go. Guy's dead. He's not moving. He's not attacking. And I can move here freely. And just so we don't leave it until next tutorial, turn the hidden in-game on capsule component again. Cool. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.